All right, we've known a little bit about, oh my God, I don't like typing this again. Someone help. I'm gonna go back to my previous repos and I copy over my to-do array here. Okay, maybe I even copy the way I print things here. Crap, here. All right, so far so good, right? What's the point of a hash? When you have a to-do list and you want to mark something as done or not done, how do you do it with just an array? Yeah, so maybe you will do something like, I already learned, you have this to-do thing, and then you have this done array, and then you say, well, the first one, learn number, yeah, I already learned it, true. Second, I already learned string, true, true. Actually, I haven't taught you guys if then else, so false, true, and then true. But then let's say if I add one more, learn hash here. All right, you need the comma, and then down here I say false. Okay? Do you guys understand the done thing here? And if I print, let's say if I do the display, remember your display thing? I can map them. Let's map them. To do display equals, so here would be to do dot map. Remember with index. Okay. Quý, can you help me? I want to map basically from learn numbers. I map to like this because it's done. The numbers, right? Because this is true. You see this? And for the ones that's false, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth one, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's the third index. Learn if else. Then, for example, learn if n here. It will map to an empty learn if n. So that's the logic. Okay. So can you help me, Quý, to map this to do into this to do display? Okay. To do dot map dot with index item index. Okay. So when you first do it, maybe just do it multiple lines like this is easy to see. And then what? So maybe like this, plus item. That's how you did the display in the past. Do we remember that one? But if you do this, when you print, everything is still to do display. When you print, it looks like, okay, let's do puts. When you print, it looks like this. I want to print the checks, the things that I did as checked, right? So Quý, can you help me? Okay, if done is an array, how do you know if the first item is done or not? Index? Yeah? So technically you're comparing with true or false. But you don't need because it already say true or false. So just say if done index. If it's done, then what do you print? With an X? Okay, if not, so now you learn this if, else, and end. Okay? If not, then what do you do? Blank space here plus item. Alright, let's take a quick look here. If, else, and end, and inside here, there's a block here. You see just one line. It returns a string. This line returns a string. So when done happens, the whole 5 lines return this string. If done index is a false situation, then it returns this line and it's also a string, right? So this whole if statement returns a string, and then map will understand that string, and so that's how you map the first element. This is index 0, right? This is index 3, remember? Index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. So I am not showing you index 1, 2, 3 here, but index 3 is learn if n, and then it will convert into this. So what we just did is checking done index. Okay, and then I run it. Bam! That makes, some happy feelings, isn't it? When you actually check something is done. And it's like our brain is already screaming in happiness. But then you don't feel happy because it's not easy to write this code. When you look at this done thing, I don't know what I did. And you accidentally add another true here, and then you're like, okay, everything goes wrong. It's very hard to remember. That's why we need to learn hash. So hash is like this. Up here, an item is a string. Yeah? What if an item is not a string, but an item can have a name, which is a string, and can also have a status that is done or not done? Okay? So maybe I call the status, I call done, and then it's true or false. Okay? So true or false. These are two values in Boolean values. Boolean just mean that you can use it in if statement. So let's try to use the two. So hash is like this. Instead of an array, in the past we have an item called learn numbers. Now I don't do this. I call my item is a hash, and then I say name is learn numbers. Okay, you can call it title, and then done is true or false. So I try true. Okay, it looks like an array, right? Remember, array is that thing here, but it's a hash. Okay. Now with item as this one, let's try playing with it. I run this, and you say item is a hash. If you don't believe me, okay, that's a hash. And how do I get the name of the item? Just like an array, I use the square bracket, but I don't use number 1, 2, 3, right? I don't use 1, I don't use 2, I don't have dot first, I don't have dot last, but I have name. And I have done, right? So that is one item. My improved to do, so maybe I just now call to do hash, it's an array of items, right? But now I have an array of hash. Okay, so that's the first. This is the second, third, fourth, fifth, and I have to fill it out. So learn items, learn strings, learn variables, learn if else and learn what else? Arrays, and learn hash, right? Oh, methods. See, I'm so tricky. Even when we're playing with example, I want to remind you guys what we learned. So here, let's say, this is false, and this is still false. Okay? So that's my to-do hash. That is my to-do hash. My item here, I'm just going to comment it out because I don't really need to use it. So when I have my to-do hash, oh, what happens? I forgot some comma, right? Don't have the comma at the end. You have the comma everywhere. Line 52, I forgot the comma again. All right, done. So I have my to-do hash. The first to-do item is that, right? Or you can call first. That's still an array. The last to-do item is, remember, -1? Yeah. All right, let's look at the first. The first to-do item, you can still get the name out of it. Whoa. That's like an array index and then a hash index. What? 2 square bracket. And then you get the name of the second, name of the third. So this is how you check them, right? And you can see, did I get the third one done? Nope. You see, it's a bit easier, right? I keep things in one place. So with that, how do I print? How do I print something like this? How do I print the X and not X thing? Let's try it. Not too bad. I do to-do hash dot each. What is to-do hash? It's still an array, so you guys know how to do that, right? Oh, no problem now. I say if item done. Do you guys see that? It's just checking whether it's done or not. Then I will print this one plus item name. Does it look good? And then else puts this one. And of course you can just also put it inside like this. Item what? Name. You see, even though I have the curly, the quotation mark here, it's inside the curly. So Ruby still understands this just fine. All right. I don't know. Sometimes this looks cleaner, right? This looks a little bit scary to me. All right. But if I run this now, you see, okay, let's print separator. Hash. Woo! And this is our hash. It looks good. And it looks clean. I only need this much code. I don't need this much code. You see, as we learn more, code just becomes shorter and shorter. It's easier to read. Right? That's not too bad. Okay. So what is this hash thing? I introduced you array before. In array, you just have array values. Array value means this is the first, line 5 is the first value, second value, third value, right? And then we say index, which is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now this is hash. Hash is, you also have something. This is a hash. Line 49 is a hash starting from the curly brace to the end of the line here. But you see the comma? This is the first element. So the first sort of, not value anymore, it's first element. It's the second. So just like an array, you still dot each into a hash. But look at the first element. You have the left hand side and the right hand side. And this is called key. After the arrow, this is called a hash rocket. It looks like a rocket. And then this is the value. So what is the key? Name. What is the value? What? Learn numbers. What is the key? Done. What is the value? True. What is the key? What is the key? So you see that all these items have the same keys. They just have different values. Right, Joy?
So basically, a key unlocks data for that thing, right?
Are you translating English to Spanish?
I'm trying to think of a simple way to say it.
I'm just joking with you. No, that's one way to say it. Yeah, unlocks it. Well, I think it's what you mean is open into it. But yeah, so key, key and locking. I don't know. Whatever you use the key thing for, you see hash key and hash values. Hash keys are things in front. Hash keys are things at the bottom. Under the keys, yeah? Hash values. Or key unlocks value. I like that. At first, I thought it's Spanish. It was like, sí. Okay. No. So, the key is up to you. In this case, I decide to call it name and done. You may call it title and status. Right? The values is also up to you. If you call this status, then maybe you can call this done as a string. Or you can even call this like this. I don't know. Then you can also print it out. But you have to choose something that is meaningful, right? Don't do both line 49 and line 50 because they are different things and then it's impossible to work with. So you want to make sure all of them follow the same definition like this. Okay? So with hash, remember our item, right? Our item is this item thing right now, it's not there anymore, so I'm going to copy this item. Item is a hash. Yeah? You can do item, you already know you can get the value of any key, right? Or you can say, hey, what are my keys? Whoa. My keys is an array of keys. What are my values? My values is an array of the values inside my hash. Right? And it gets better. You could, here you only use each with to do, right? You could, let's say, I define this item over here. So now I can do item dot each do. Okay? This is a different each, okay? This is each inside a hash. This is a each method inside a hash. But if you go into the hash, what do you think goes in here? What do you think goes in this variable? Exactly. Remember item and index? Instead of the each with index, item index here, you're actually having key and value. Okay? Alright? So I will just say key is and value is for you guys to see. Key is name and value is learn numbers. Look at that line up here. So I'm taking that down here for you to see more clearly. So when you do each, it goes to the first until the comma. And when you do each again, it goes to the second. So then you have key and value. So key is name, value is learn numbers. Key is done and value is true. So I give you 10 seconds to review what you see here. And just ask me if you have any questions. Yes? No? Still good? Too easy? Alright, I see the thumbs up. I'm going to go faster now. Alright, very quickly, this is the final thing, 1 more minute, and then we break for lunch. If I have a person, okay, the name of the person is Adele, for example. I bet she's sneezing a lot these days. Huh? Yeah. And then that's her age. You see how I now use a number instead of a string? Here is a Boolean value, true, false. And then I have another person, so maybe I call this Adele. And then I say Bieber, another very old artist. And his name is Bieber. Even, maybe Justin Bieber. It's up to you. Maybe Justin. Okay, never mind. Bieber. And Bible. And his age is like, I don't know, maybe he's 22 and Adele is like 21. I don't know, both of them. Who's older? Adele is like 23 now? No. Are you sure? Alright. Adele age 29? What? Okay, that's totally a shock. I thought she got famous when she was what is that? Bieber age. We learn pop culture. Wow. 19. Wow. This is what? 23 years old. Okay. So here's the thing, right? What if I want to ask you to write a method that say return an older person, older artist, okay? And it takes in artist first person and a second person, okay? So I don't know what you write in here. I don't care what you write in here, but I want to be able to say older artist. And then if I pass in Adele and Bieber, oh my God, I really cannot. I should choose a different artist. This name is so hard to type. This should return me Adele, right? And then of course I can ask you a better artist, and then you can return me Bieber. Do you agree with me? This should return Bieber, right? No, false. All right, older artist Adele. How do you write this? We learned how to do if else. How would you write this? Stan.
Okay, so if
You compare first and second,
yeah,
but you cannot compare first greater than second because they are hash.
so would it be
First, read in English. If the age of the first artist is greater than the age of the second artist, then blah blah blah.
okay? So first older artist or age?
What is first?
Yeah.
I'm just assuming. So again, Ian, you'll be like, whoa, whoa, what if, first is a number instead of a hash? In that case, the method will just crash and don't worry about it, okay? Here we assume that first is an artist. Sometimes you may name it like, up to you really. You can call it first underscore artist to make it very clear to your friend. Or you can call it artist A, right? And artist B. I just call it first, second for now, okay? So first artist is greater than second what?
Artist.
And second, thank you. So this return a number, right? And this is a number. So then what?
Else.
Okay, so you want to do else?
No, wait.
All right. So if else end. That seems correct. I just need to do something inside there. Here.
You do the name, right?
First, you want to return the name like that. And down here you return what? Second? Yeah? Technically, I'm asking you for an artist, so you should return me an artist, not just the name. Yeah? So if you do this, it's okay. So I just put, older artist, and then you can just do this, right? Older artist, here's Adele. But then you're like, what's the age of that older artist? You kind of lost it. Yeah? So, for example, you type older is, and then you give it this variable, and then you print out older, and then your friends say, okay, that's cool, but how old? How old? Okay, older age, and you see what happens. How old? Nothing. Because why? Older is a string, and then older, this age thing is a completely different thing. Wrong, right? So you want to return the artist itself. Just that. Remember when I say return, if you knew, you just imagine it's there, right? Returns here means, that's the last thing that Ruby sees, and this will, give back the value to the parent. So, how does that look? It looks quite clean. And I run this now. Older artist, how old? 29. And the reason this works is because older is still a hash. So older artist now you can say that's the name. Uh-oh. Someone help. You guys are so mean, you're not helping me. So Adele and this age. Cool? You learned a ton about hash already, so let's get to work. It's lab time. It's lunchtime, and then after that you do the lab exercises.